My take on day 12 or 13? Yeah, day 12. Day 12 of the trial. There's always something that is like a oopsie. I think it was like yesterday, it was like, oh, one of the witnesses testified they saw a blob in the yard. That was really convenient after they'd been saying all along that they never nobody saw anything, and the defense was kind of relying on that. And all of a sudden, well, because that doesn't look good, that nobody saw anything, all of a sudden somebody saw something, you know. But then this witness, it just like, oh my gosh, what the heck? What the heck? This is before she broke down crying because people were harassing her and her family and talking about Colin. And she said he was not at the house when John was there. Like, did that come out wrong? Did she not mean it in the way that it looks? Did she literally just say that John was at the house? So this was Court TV 620/30, which, by the way, my favorite live stream is Boston 10, I think, because they allow live chat. And it's like, I won't watch these people. I just happen to be, I went back to review this channel because they have captions. They have closed captions. I specifically wanted to make sure I'm hearing what she's saying, and closed caption is matching what this woman said. And yeah, she said that he was not at the house when John was there. Like, she's defending her man, right? She's defending Colin or whatever. Oh my goodness. She's defending Colin, but in doing so, she said John was there. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. You can see the screen, okay? Because that's exactly what she said. What she said is what the captions say. When John was there, he was there. Okay, so I'm going to go back to an old article. This talks about this was from September. This is City Life. I don't know if this. I really don't know who this is. Is this just some blogger? Or is this an actual? It's just called Boston City Life. Anyways, so the Karen Reed case in Canton, the killing that tore a town apart, by Gretchen Voss, 9/27/2023. And so she's just going into details how it's affecting this town, how people in high school and parents and are all like afraid to even say what side that they're on, but it's just causing a lot of division. But it says some very interesting things, and it kind of gives a timeline of how things, her lawyer actually said she was guilty. Oh my gosh. So this is initially the first reaction to her arrest when Vanetti took the case was like, he went and told people that it was a tragic accident and there's no criminal intent. I'm like, dude, why are you talking to the media, man? You didn't need to do that. So that was before the conspiracy theory came out. But it was interesting. This I hadn't heard before about how the conspiracy theory started. Oh my goodness. Hang on. Because if you didn't know this is so interesting. There's actually a guy who made a crazy phone call, and he's got a lawyer, but they're not using his name. Really weird. So he got a phone call. He got a mysterious phone call. Okay, but I'm getting into that. So I'm trying to find where Yanetti. So yeah, so basically, when she was first arrested, the lawyer's response was, that it was a tragic accident. Okay, it was just a tragic accident. And then how the connection of Michael Proctor, the state police officer, how they found that connection. She did that. That wasn't an independent investigator. It wasn't the lawyers. She found the pictures. She dug and went through thousands of pictures, and she found this woman right here. Okay, but what led to her starting the investigation was not just because she was arrested. So here it is right here. Afterward, Yannetti told reporters outside the courthouse his client was in shock and O'Keefe's death had been an innocent accident, no criminal intent. So he's just letting them know, look, this woman's not trying to kill this man. And if there was an accident, it was, it was just a tragic accident. She didn't try to kill him. But she was later rearrested on second murder, but all because of Michael Proctor. So that's where, here it is right here. She went to his publicly shared Facebook page that led her to Proctor's sister's account, where Reed says she combed through some 1,300 photos. At 4 a.m., she found she was looking for a photo taken Proctor's sister wedding showed a young Colin Albert, the ring bearer. Then Reed found another photo of Proctor's parents and sister alongside members of Chris Albert's family. So there was allegedly a report where this state police who's leading this criminal investigation, he makes a point to put in his report that after formal introductions were met, we said da 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 da. Okay, as if he just met them and didn't know them. So that's where they're coming from on this, all these connections. Why are they going to all this trouble to try to act like there's no connection? So she went and found these pictures, right? But here's what led to this very bizarre. It's crazy. Okay, so she didn't know about the dog, and yeah, so Proctor. Okay, so then there's the phone call. Listen to this. Okay, so then here's the thing that they are really making a very, very, very big mistake. And I don't think they know it, because everybody's like, the footprints in the snow, they're like, well, people, they're gonna talk about that when the defense finally gets to present. So I've been just hoping that the footprints in the snow that I pointed out, okay, this is where there's like some footprints that goes down here. There's various times that they show this particular footage of Cameron when he went to get his daughter from this house. So there's footprints right here, and there's like, you can barely tell, but there's like some footprints went down the driveway. But these are footprints right here, okay? And so she showed the police her cracked tail light. It says in a report that she showed the police her cracked tail light. Okay. So I don't know if they are the one. It showed them looking at it. That if the missing footage would mean that was consistent, that they saw that there was just a cracked tail light, because the tail light wasn't missing. If you have a cracked tail light, that means there's going to be like maybe a chip off of it, or like I had a cracked tail light one time and there was a piece missing, and I had to go to O'Reilly's so I could get it in the shop and get some red tape. They actually make tape to cover your tail light if it's broken, and I had to put the red tape on it. It's just a temporary fix. And a cracked tail light does not mean a missing tail light. That means the entire cover of the tail light, and you would see white light and you wouldn't see red. You would see white light. And so it went from a cracked tail light to being completely missing. Like there was no pieces left on that tail light. And so when they came, so here's the footprints, and you can tell by, it looks like depth. It looks like they've been a little bit snowed over. And so by the depth of these, though, that these footprints were made after the snow had fallen. So you can kind of get a timeline when they were made based on the times it was snowing during that night. So this is about 6:30 in the morning when, he woke up about 6 something. So it's around 6ish in the morning when he comes here, and he does not make these footprints. He walks over here, messes with the garage door, and he goes walk back over here. He didn't make these footprints going that way. Okay, they show the footage of him getting here and then leaving. He did not. This was not him. He didn't do that. Okay, so maybe they're hiding the footage because maybe it was when police looked and saw a cracked tail light, because they're saying they didn't notice that a tail light was missing, and it's what they testified, until 8:30 a.m. When they came here, allegedly because they felt some way or another that children would be home alone in this house, and they didn't, instead of calling the family to see are the kids okay, or assuming that the kids are going to, be picked up by family members, they just assumed that that these kids are home alone. To me, it was a ruse. That trip that they made at 8:30 was a ruse to get to this house so they can have their dash cams on, and then later say, well, we looked at the video footage and we saw that there was a taillight missing while it was still in her driveway, because of the accusations later that the taillight didn't come missing, and the fragments of a taillight was, they collected pieces so they could, plant them after they took the taillight, after they took the car. So that's why I'm saying this is a huge mistake on their part, because they've been alleging in interviews and blah, 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 that they're saying that, so he towed the car at 5:30, but Reed's security footage as well as the Dighton police report showed that those times were wrong, and that Karen's SUV was actually towed closer to 4:12. The 78-minute discrepancy said would have left Proctor alone with the car, plenty of time to break her taillight and plant the pieces. This is where they are going very, very, very wrong, and they ruined it. Because when they got into trial, this was from, remember, 2023, so they've been saying this for a long time. And so now they're at trial, they have police video footage that shows that they didn't know what they were going to testify about the footage. They just showed that here's a guy and he went there to pick up her daughter, and it shows the cops coming later to do a welfare check on the kids. They didn't know that they were going to testify at trial that they didn't. That's when they noticed the taillight was missing, because in the footage from the 8:30 video, clearly you can see that taillight is missing. So the taillight went missing while it was still in the driveway. That's why I say these footprints are so important. This is where I believe that, because the taillight was missing here, and she said that she showed the police the cracked taillight, okay, this is where they could have went and then hit the taillight, collected the pieces, and then left. Somebody did, and you could see that there were footprints that went down the driveway. And I showed this, and somebody even agreed, and they said, yeah, they saw that footprint down there by the tree. And so the footage, there's footage, and the FBI can get this footage. They can get this footage to show who made the footprints in the snow. Okay, so there's that big issue that the defense, they've just, in my opinion, messed up. I went through all of the witness list. This is the defense witness list. I don't see anything, like it actually doesn't say, usually when you present a witness list, you present what each witness list is going to present, but that could have been a separate document. But this just shows all the people. I don't see anybody from even the prosecution. Now this is, don't pay any attention to this narration. Somebody did this post. But this is like theirs. So this is where they're at, like right here, I believe. And so they still have quite a ways to go. But I don't see anything about the EDR of the car. Now that may come from some state police, but there's supposed to be something like the EDR data with the car. But okay, whatever they present, I'm not going to believe, because when you're lying, so then they're claiming that this guy, that John told on him about some drugs or something like that. I ain't seen no court record. If people are claiming that they're journalists and they want to put people's names out here like this and make accusations that these cuts on his knuckle means he's the one that beat up the deceased, you need to come up with a court record, okay? You need to put the court record on your whatever, because I really don't, just seriously. I mean, just anyway. So here's a record. This is evidence number 22-989304. The iPhone of Jen McCabe. So this shows deleted calls, and it shows you the duration. Not answered answers. So these were answered calls. Okay. And who they were made to. 3:32, 3 minutes 32 seconds to 911. And it doesn't show, anything. I don't know where the one is from, like, earlier ones or whatever. But anyway, so there's that. There's not really, yeah. So anyways, on we go. Let's talk about the caller. Oh my gosh, this strange person. So Yannetti, the lawyer for Reed, claims that he got a weird phone call. Okay. That just talks about. I'm only surrounded right now with. So yeah, so there's like people who went to the city and they were complaining, that they're just destroying this town, But oh my gosh, let me go back. I gotta find this part where we talk about this strange phone call. Okay, the phone call. Okay, so this talked about what her. I don't know if they did an interview with her or they're just gathering information that she said from different people. But now here's the thing about the family of John O'Keefe, his parents. I think it's disgusting that people harassed those parents and said horrible things about them, called them maggots and all kinds of crazy stuff. How can you do that? Because because they feel like they've thrown her under the bus. We have to understand why they believe the state, why they're trusting the state. The granddaughter is saying that Karen Reed told different sides of the story. Now, she was obviously having problems with her memory, because of alcohol. It doesn't mean that she was drunk enough to run over her boyfriend, but she was inebriated. Everybody's testified that she wasn't having any problems. Her words weren't slurring or whatever, but, that doesn't mean that she wasn't intoxicated. You know what I mean? But she was definitely having problems with her memory. Now, these are he say, she say. This person is just saying basically what they're repeating. So she said she woke up alone. Now, I want to talk about this weird phone call to her attorney. Somebody was trying to say that there was a cover-up. And so that person has an identity, that person has a name, and that person has a lawyer. And I don't know why they're leaving that person's name out of the scene. Like, why aren't they revealing that person? I don't see that person's name on the witness list, that the person who made the phone call, leading them to believe this. But at any rate, then you have the phone calls that she made, meaning Karen Reed, which a lot of people look at those phone calls of ranting voicemails to John O'Keefe as bad evidence against her, like she hated him. Actually, I look at it like it really makes it look like she's didn't have a clue what was going on, because the niece, Reed woke her up and had her dial Jen, who she said had no idea where O'Keefe was. So she hung up and called Chris Albert's wife, Julie, who lived just a few doors down from Keefe, to ask if he had passed out at their house. And meanwhile, Reed called O'Keefe's lifelong friend, Carrie Roberts, who also lived in Canton. Neither woman seen or heard from O'Keefe. Okay, so they're claiming, oh my gosh, it was 18 degrees. So here's what happened with the let's see, small cut above his right eye, a cut to the left side of the nose, and approximately 2-inch laceration to the back of the head. Actually, I thought it was bigger than that. And multiple skull fractures. So if you fall once, I don't know if that can cause multiple skull fractures or somebody's beating him on the head with something. But anyways, he had hypothermia. He probably could have lived. But they're saying dead or got hit by a plow. And then this is where they said that an emergency responder asked Reed how O'Keefe had injured his face. The document said, Red said, I hit him. I call that a load of bull. I'm sorry. If anybody, if a medical person had said that, um, they would have told the police that she said that, and they would have arrested her on the spot. She's telling police, I hit him, I hit him. They're going to arrest her on the spot. Real. Anyways, so it stated that they found a broken cocktail glass and multiple patches of blood in the snow near where his body was located. So the Massachusetts Special Emergency Response Team also found pieces of plastic, 2 red and 1 clear, in the same vicinity as the body. See, I don't know where they said this. Items consistent with the broken tail light on the Reed's Lexus. But the tail light wasn't missing. It was just cracked. Anyways, the document noted that officials seized the car and found that it had broken glass embedded in the rear bumper, deep scratch on a dent on the right side of the rear tailgate, and 2 scratches plus some chip paint. Now, the FBI hired 3 PhDs, according to the defense lawyer, and none of them, they said that all of them conclude that that car did not make the injury. So, yeah, no. So here we go. He's saying that it was an accident. Okay, he's a lawyer. He should have kept his mouth shut. He just basically told the public that it was an accident. Huh. Wow. So now it wasn't long before a far more sinister theory of what happened began to emerge. So on his drive home, here it goes. On his drive home after the arraignment, Yannetti says he returned a call to a tipster who had previously called his office. A man with a gravelly voice who initially offered up a fake name picked up the phone and told Yannetti he recalls something to the effect of, your client is innocent. John was beaten up by Brian Albert and his nephew. They broke his nose, and when O'Keefe didn't come to, Brian and a federal agent dumped his body on the front lawn. Now, there's an attorney for this guy who allegedly made this phone call. Attorney for the man Yannetti identified as the tipster denies his version. He's probably scared. But I want to know who that person is. Why is that not being revealed? Who that person is? It's real. That really happened. Who is this mysterious person who called him and made these facts? Okay. And I'm sure as an attorney he was recording. Like, why would he not have recorded that phone call? Like, I don't think Massachusetts is a 2-party state. Most states are 1 party. That means as long as you're a party to the conversation, you record and you don't even have to know. Right? Anyways, so that's when they're thinking that, oh, and then there's the Brian Higgins. There's like 50 pages of text between him and her, and that's a real deal. Like, there's all these text messages. Did he confront him and say that he was trying to steal his woman or something like that? Because that was the serious thing. 50 some pages of possible romantic relationship with that man. Okay, so she brings in Jackson. Okay, then this big mistake, talking about the discrepancy, acting like that they broke the tail light after it was towed off, and no, it was broken sitting in her driveway with mysterious footprints there at her tailgate. Okay, anyways, and so allegedly Jen McCabe Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27. Oh, those 2 experts are going to argue with each other that no, it didn't happen at that time. But yeah, so then we have the 92 affidavit to the court, 92-page affidavit that Jackson submitted with the theory in detail. Okay, and then you have this drama coming on. So then the divisions in the town start, people at high schools, and just a lot of division within the community. There's a lot of people in the community that believe there is corruption, and so people are afraid to say who they believe. So here's originally, the picture of, I guess he had a wig. Yeah. So here's the thing about the Ring camera system. It registered 15 events between 6 p.m., the 99 and 6 a.m. So that might be the issue on where the footage is because, and I have a camera like that. It will only record. You can get something. You can, like, some of them you can make it record constantly, but if you have a camera like that, what you can do if you want it to record continuously instead of spending a lot of money for the more expensive ones that do, you can just put something that will cause, movement in front, near where the camera is. And because there's something moving in front of the camera, it will continuously record. I mean, it's just a hack, but anyways. So, but it sometimes there's things that should have shown up, and if the sensors or whatever are just off with the camera or whatever, it may not have recorded it. But it's saying that there's 15 events between 6 p.m. the night he died and 6 a.m. the next morning. There's no video of her arrival back home that night. Like, I don't know if they're suggesting that something was deleted. That's not possible, because they can always retrieve that. It doesn't go away. So it's just stupid to even suggest that. There's no video of her arrival back home that night. And I say they're hiding that evidence because they don't want to see her driving home, because it's very clear that she's not drunk enough to have been a person that ran over her boyfriend. I think that's why they're trying to act like it's not there. But the feds can get in there and they can find that surveillance, right? Especially the person who made those footprints by her tail light. Okay. So anyways, then you have the ranting phone calls that she made against her boyfriend. Reed told Proctor she dropped off Keefe and went home because she had a stomach ache and she never saw him enter the house. But during an interview with Boston, she said she saw Keefe run up to the house and enter through the doorway of the breezeway. I don't know if that's just something the reporter... This interview, I think, is these people here claiming that she said this. Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay, so here's what I find to be very interesting. Michael Morrissey is saying that cell phone data from his phone found on the grass beneath his body shows the phone never entered the house. I don't know how on earth you're going to pinpoint that down to the foot. Like, I don't think anything can pinpoint exactly where your phone has gone unless there's certain apps that tracks your movement. But I I could be wrong, but I thought there was some kind of fit bracelet that showed that at a certain time that he'd gone up a flight of stairs or something like that. So that's going to be their experts against their experts on the phone and his movements. Okay. Reed insisted she and Keefe were in a loving relationship. The phone shows she called him some 50 times that night, leaving furious voicemails screaming she hated him, according to the prosecution. But here's where I have opinion on those voicemails. So she drops the guy off. He's supposed to call her, let him know if it's okay for her to come there or whatever. Okay, so she's upset because she feels like he blew her off. That her being mad at him for blowing her off really shows she didn't have a clue why he's not responding. That's what those furious phone calls tell me. The furious voicemails, she might have said she hated him. People do that when they're mad. But that's just her saying she's mad because she felt like he blew her off. And why would she be making phone calls like that if she knew she done killed the man and he's fixing to be found and they're going to go through all her voicemails and you know what I'm saying? That doesn't even add up. If anything, I feel like it makes it look like she did not do it. Because you're not going to leave angry voicemails that she would know that's going to be used against her in his phone to make her look like, the one who had issue with him. Right? That's just her not knowing why this man she just dropped off is blowing her off. I'm like, I would be mad too. He blew her off. Went to a party and then was supposed to call her and then blew her off. Yeah, she was mad. So to me, that just makes it look like she's telling the truth on that anyways. Okay, so then you have these Higgins. Okay, he was at the house that night. And he voluntarily gave authorities his phone They retrieved 56 pages of text between him and Reed, some of which a source with knowledge of the messages has characterized as romantic in nature, and Higgins did not respond.